I want to welcome everybody back. I don't know how long I'm going to be on, but I kind of wanted to go over the market here before we get into the daily close. I know, I'm on vacation or whatever, but as they say, the market never sleeps. And if you take a break, the next time you take a peek, it's not going to be something's going to change of significance. So I was going through this. A big thing of significance was the fact that Ethereum hit 3,800. And now 18 minutes later, as we come up near that next resistance point, we're kind of back testing a significant part of this move right now. In the shorter time frames, if sorry about that. If Ethereum were to hold this and then it pushes out to the next tier, we're really, you could come back a little bit, but it really did have this little wick down here where it back tested this. This coming up here and now coming here is back testing like this little area before it dropped down. Now it's like you're building this area. And to me, if it's building this higher cup, it's still got to come up to like 4,100. So, and this is a big build. I think in time, this is actually going to play out exactly like we're drawing this out. And Ethereum's going to end up around 6,389. Probably, it could go higher, like towards 7,000. But if we upward project it like this, what's this? You can always find higher numbers because the top number is 7,300, but that's from the pattern. I'm looking at this big cup that's forming with this inverse head and shoulders farther down. It's something big. Like if Ethereum's going to double, we're definitely going to cook in alt season. Like if it really is alt season and this isn't one giganto fake out, which it appears not to be at this point. It appears to be the real deal. Like we are revving up and we haven't seen anything yet. Like what we've seen with XRP, we're going to see in a lot of others in a very big way. I did buy HBAR today. I had to earlier. After we did the live, I sat there and I did something I haven't done since 2023. I needed another, because I wanted 20,000 tokens. I needed a little more money. I had a few thousand spare. And I ended up sending from my mining stock fund for when they drop. I've got like $7,000 or $8,000 sitting in there on Cash App that I send back to my bank if I need it. And I sent it to the crypto exchange. I bought Bitcoin, sent it from Cash App by Bitcoin, put it into my BITUNIX, sold the Bitcoin. And then I acquired 20,100 and something tokens of HBAR. I said, you know what? I can't just, if this weekly candle is really going to explode out of here, the 4-hourly was building, well, it's building right now. We'll see how this pans out. Or, because it's at a certain point, we built this cup. We tried to build this little handle here. And at the next level, once it breaks up, I think we're looking at what Alchemy Pay, probably, well, maybe not Alchemy Pay is a good example because of where we're at. Because the weekly's it's waiting for that big surge in the weekly now. Like we've pushed up, we're back testing the move. We have a daily golden cross that is now back tested on the 20-day and is pushing out. This is where we should get the hyperbolic movement. You've got the big inverse head and shoulders. So it's like I'm sitting there going, listen, you've got to make a decision here because if it breaks out of here, you certainly are going to get priced out of what you want to do with this. Because I had already wrote it up so far, and then swing trading it, I had to buy it back before this move eventually broke out. And now it's like you're splitting hairs here because in the weekly, we wrote it up on the first part of that, not this weekly candle, but the last one when it was surged up and as a group. And now it's like, if it does do this next part, are you really going to want to wait until it comes up here? Or if it comes up here, 45 is a lot different than 27. $1.90 is a lot different than 45. But these inverse head and shoulders are definitely starting to pile up. And it feels to me like as long as we let these work, we're going to cook. We're really going to cook if we just stay patient. We keep our emotion out of this and we just let this do what it needs to do. And ironically, I said that at 222. So just let this do what it needs to do. Just let this do what it needs to do. Let me look at the comments through my phone because I missed an awful lot. I did not know there was going to be this many people already. I feel like we're breaking out in a sense of our channel, not just the Telegram, not just what we bought, not just all of the crypto. I mean, in a channel in a sense, we're becoming a little more tight knit, and that's what needs to happen. The Fine Group, thank you so much for being in town over 3+ months with the XRP Media, along with Crypto Cruder, Calvin, Frankie Fresh. Appreciate all of you being in for your 3rd month in the Fine Group. Thanks for being a very trusted mod here on YouTube, and also a very important mod or admin, and basically a director now in the Telegram. I really appreciate it. Mark, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. I really, really appreciate that. Trading with J Rod, thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the XRP 5, or wait a minute, over 3 years with the XRP Diamond Hands badge. Sorry, I don't know why I was thinking it was it's clearly not the 589 Moon badge. But thank you for being in Tom's Army for over 3 years with the XRP Diamond Hands badge. A $10 donation said, I saw that smile time. Let me know if I can go ahead and stop these 12-hour days, 7 days a week. In time, keep building into it until we get the maximum, until we get that actual final move. But yeah, I mean, this is what it's building into. And if you start looking at it across the board, you start to look at the setups, and you start to look at prior setups, and you start to look at where certain things are at. All these cup and handles are going to break out at some point. I mean, look at these. It's the same thing. Like, I get myself with XLM all the time because I want XLM too. It's just, to be honest with you, with the route I went, it is not in the budget right now because I went so deep on XDC because I think especially from 7.7 was going to outperform because it wasn't even up to the level. I think this is going to outperform it. So like, I'm not mad, but I wish that there was a, is it still good to buy ACH? Well, I knew some of you would ask that after it's gone up 21.5%. I never encourage anybody to buy during the pump because you don't know how big the pullback's going to be. You don't know if it was just a last shot run off the top. Sell your MXC for. Well, if you're going to sell a position, you've got to know what you want to do with that said position. Ben B, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XRP Predictor, along with Jorge, who is also a very trusted mod here and in the Telegram. Says, hello, people all the time. Remember to hit that like button and consider subscribing to Tom's channel for the best TA on YouTube and news and Telegram. Excellent. Thank you so much for that, and I agree. It's a great step to take. And for XRP in the title, I said XRP 10x. I think I said 10x I said XRP 10x is not the end game because we didn't buy it for 10x. We bought it to be in the position of knowing it's going to 10x and then seeing what we can do as it appreciates to maybe make another 20 grand on top of this if we can get up to that 549 technical target that started this bull market for XRP. The rest of them have big targets. They just haven't done anything in comparison to XRP. They're so low. Like, I can go across the board. There's another one that I don't have that I want, but I didn't buy because I bought double the exposure to IOTA just because of simplicity, less tokens, because it's a mainframe token and just some of the uncertainties. I decided to go with just over 20,000 IOTA instead of going 10,000 IOTA, 10,000 algo, which is what I would have always normally done. And for some reason, I was just inclined to do it that way. So who knows how that's going to play out in the future. But I figure IOTA is running for both of them now. It's got to cover both. But I have a very, very strong feeling about data, DENT, and band. Just looking at it, I feel this overwhelming feeling. I didn't even really realize that band was still in that same setup from 3 years ago. And when you start looking at things, you're like, okay, it's one of those things. We're not in the market for those 3 years on that particular token. It's about timing the market. And it's got to pan out. So I think it's a good sign that ACH is up 20%. I know it's got to consolidate. It was up like 30, but you want this to happen. Up 30, back 10 to 15, up another 20. That's what you want. You want to keep back testing every one of these moves. Doge is up almost 9%. Julie's very happy about that. I told the story many times, including in the Telegram. So if you want to see it, join the Telegram. To get in the Telegram, join Tom's Army. And in the post section on YouTube, there's a link. But you have to be a paid member in Tom's Army, at least for 1 month to get it, because we've had an overwhelming amount of spam and people trying to imitate me. It doesn't get rid of everybody, but it gets rid of a lot. Let's see. Make sure I didn't. I know I'm gonna miss some comments because I don't have my big screen next. You know what I normally use at home, so I'm doing the best I can. McMichael says Tom's doing lives all day long. I'm not gonna get any work done today if he keeps it. I know, and I'm technically on vacation, but you know it worked out good because I took a kayak out and I tried to fish a little bit, but they have no fishing poles here. They have it's like a little, it's like almost not a ghost town, but it's nice on the water here, but I can't buy anything. I should have brought fishing poles and all my stuff, and I'm like, there's a bait shop a mile away. I'm sure I can buy some good bait, a tackle, some great, I can buy everything I need. Let's see. UK Phil, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So Bads. Oh yeah, and by the way, that fishing pole I bought, it broke in the air. I was walking back to where we're at, and it literally broke by the movement of the air as I was walking back. Mimi, which is Julie's mom, she was laughing because literally I just walked back and the tip snapped. And I looked at her and I'm like, "Did you just see that?" And she's like, "Did it just break?" I'm like, "Mm-hmm." It sure did, this cheap piece of... Anyhow. So I'll be fishing the old-fashioned way. I'll be using my belt strap and I'll be bending the buckle into a hook and digging for worms out here. Let's see. I don't even know. That's not the old-fashioned way. I guess I could find like a paper clip or something. Let's see. Flo, welcome in. Joseph Euler says, good afternoon, Tom and community. Good afternoon to you as well. And thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months. Calvin, I'm glad you're not at work. The number 2 top fan as well. And Frankie Fresh, number 3. This top fan thing still gets me. I can't read them all because there's a lot of people tied, but I'll read the top. So trading with J-Ride, because he sent a YouTube super chat to us far out ahead. Like when you sign a super chat, obviously it's going to make you more of a top fan because you're sending monetary donation. Or if you sign up or all this stuff. Calvin, thank you, along with Clam Bellies, Ben, Defined, Bassman, Arichi. Thank you all for being, the top 2 and 3 because you tied for the top 2 through 7, I believe it was. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think that's catch up. Banshee, thank you for being in Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge and me being abducted by aliens, and that is my face superimposed on that emoji badge. It's hot at work. Tom, try working in a steel mill. Well, for one, I don't think my body would allow me with the injuries I suffered. It couldn't happen because I have the everlasting effects of a broken back from when I was 23. So I know for a fact I couldn't hack that job. For a fact. So I commend you. That's not an easy job. It's probably worth it. It's probably got good benefits and you probably get paid pretty well. Although probably not as well as you should based on the job. Let's see. XRP Zombie, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. My crypto portfolio is up over $20,000 this month. Boom! That's how it's done. Respect, my friend. I'm so glad to see that. And thank you for paying it forward in Tom's Army for well over a year now. Mr. Tolly, welcome in. Appreciate seeing you back in here. Always appreciate to have my friend in here. XRP Zombies, you are welcome, my friend. Let's see. Yeah, Calvin, it's okay. I come to terms with it many, many years ago, and I'm my best version of myself, so it's okay. I think I'm defined by my pain now because I'm able to overcome it, and I just act like, or I just succeed past it. So it helps me in my everyday function. Banshee, thank you so much for the $4.99 donation. Greatly appreciate that. On top of being in Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge and me being abducted by aliens, that's incredible. And if you're not in the Telegram, please go here now that you're in Tom's Army and just click on the post. You'll see it. Very first one, just for the members of Tom's Army. There's no other way to get to it. I deleted the link on here because people were trying to, you know, go on there and still scam us. So that's when I realized something was wrong, because there were still so many people joining. I'm like, that it's impossible. Not that many people joined. Look, I did it again. Not that many people joined Tom's army, and then I figured it out. I had a glitch. But this is my newest update. I'm sure you've seen the live video, what it looks like. If you notice H bars on there, like almost like coming out of his finger. And then for the other one, I did H bar basically being carried on the back while trying to carry a very, very oversized XDC with the Internet of Things on the bottom left. And then obviously XRP on the top with the Phoenix rising. And on the one for the lives now, you got the diamond hands, the IoT, the Internet of Things right there on the top of his finger, kind of flexing a little bit. And then I like the way that's turning out. Man and his dog, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. And thank you for being here for so long, me and Tom's Army for over 1 year. I really appreciate that. Wait a minute, what's going on now? Let's see. I have to see, I must have missed something. I don't know if I missed something from something. I'm a good friend of mine. Mentioned 1985 joined the army yesterday when reception was sketchy. He deserves a new intro. Go Banshee. Yeah, Banshee, thank you so much for joining in Tom's Army for your first month in the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. And I'm so blessed to have you in here. I'm sorry that the connection was a little bad yesterday, but we did figure it out. But you definitely made me the happiest person in the world. Not yesterday, but today now, because we get to reinvigorate it. So thank you so much for that. Like, literally, that is so awesome. You can't buy ODA in Ontario, Canada. Well, I had the same issue in Michigan with basically every exchange I used until BITUNIX. But I have to buy it in the futures market, but I do it at 1x. I think it's only in futures still on BITUNIX. But all of our copy trades I do in 1x variety, which you shouldn't even know about that. I spilt the beans, but if you go to the Telegram, it's free to join. At least that part of it is. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this and I'm feeling pretty good about what I'm seeing here on a Sunday. We're starting to have these domino effect breakouts. You see how XRP in that weekly, how it encased back all the way to the top? For the most part, H-bar has been doing what XRP is. The only thing it didn't do so far is it hasn't had that, for H-bar, it hasn't had that last, like, you know, like, to catch it. It's kind of, what is going on here? What, they don't want me to tell you what I want to tell you? Interesting. This happens sometimes right when I get on a roll. Oh yeah, XRP is definitely built for something right now. But look, you see how H-bar is? This is, it looks like it's going to surge up to where I circled. I mean, it feels like it's trying to just have one big push up. Maybe it comes to 33. Maybe it comes to 40. It feels like it's got to come up to that area. It's building a cup and handle in an inverse head and shoulder. Do you know how bullish this is, everybody? Oh my God. That target right here, that's a real target. And I'm going to lower it just so you guys can see the short target again. Let's go here where the maximum capacity is on that inversion. But once it's built, we're going to measure it from there. You know that. But we're going to do the short term because you built the handle now. So once you get on top of here, I mean, look at that target. We're really coming up there. Oh, my God. We've been riding. Yes, we swung in and out of it, but we were riding H-bar from, I don't remember what we bought it on Winning Wednesdays and FOMO Fridays when we wrote it up. Was it 5.2 cents, I believe, when we rode it all the way up in this initial part of this bull market. But then when we tapped out here, we just kind of let it come back down, and I waited and waited. Now, I swing traded it a few times around here, especially with the group right here, and we had that nice push up, very nice push up. And then I sold it, came back down, consolidated, but now I can't do it. This is crazy, though. Look at these setups, guys. Oh my God, we've been waiting 3 years for this. That's why I think a lot of people are having a hard time believing this because it's been so long. But look at the setups. You cannot deny it. And Ethereum doing what it did on a Sunday, you cannot deny it's up 4.3% today. And we're getting very, very close to, remember when we started this journey up and I said 3,151 or whatever was like the golden pocket in the short term. Then we were going to come up to 3,800, likely 3,981. But once we get on top of there and we signal this next move, that is going to be explosive. You're talking about a move from 4,000 roughly to over 6,000 for Ethereum. That's huge for alts. And if you talk about the bigger target, it's like 7,329. And that's if it breaks out all the way back here in April of 26. If it breaks out over here, it's going to be even higher. But aside from XRP and Bitcoin, maybe Solana, for the most part, there's not very many that were higher than they started the bull market of 21 in, or their all-time highs. There's so many of these that are so far down. McMichael, I understand that feeling. I do understand that feeling. That's why you kind of have to go for the ones that you really have in your heart. Like, even though I had IOTA, I mean, even though I had Theta, Filecoin, and ACH, in my gut, I wanted to change out Theta and Filecoin, and I wanted to replace them with IOTA and VeChain because I think VeChain is a better IoT token at this point for the price than Filecoin is. And it's not even a comparison for me for mainframe tokens. I think IOTA is so much better valued than Theta. Even though Theta is fantastic, I just think IOTA is next layer if you understand what's going on. And the other thing that I understand too, remember what I said when XRP made the run to $3.50 and 60? I said, now everybody's going to be infatuated. They're all going to start buying XRP. Nobody's going to buy XDC when it was at 7.7. And here we are 21% later, and XRP is down from that 360, but it's building a big move. I said nobody's going to look at some of these other ones that are building the same exact 10x move. I can't do ZIL on, I can do it on BITUNIX, but I wanted to do it in the futures with the group, but it wouldn't let me do it. It won't let you do the group even though it's only in the future. So what I decided to do was just do instead of doing 50-50 on, VeChain and ZIL, I did VeChain. And then I said, you know what? I guess we have to sacrifice ZIL, and it's just going to be part of my bigger version of something else. And I don't know which version that is because I also have data banned. And I told you guys in the last cycle, I'm not going to miss these ones that aren't talked about just simply because I don't know about them. I'm going to find the ones that are like and it comes from community, like with Sean continuing pestering me about band until today. I finally looked at it deeper and said, oh my God, at 76 cents or 75.9, whatever it was at the live, I bought it. It's either 75.9 or 76. You guys know, you were in the live. So if somebody says, is it too late to buy? Literally, I just bought it. That's it. And if it goes down, literally, we're going to get strung down. But I bought 6,000 tokens. So that's another, I could have bought ZIL with that money. But my gut tells me that this, with only having 175 million tokens and where it's at in the pattern, and this is going to fill this out eventually. Like, you want to forward project something like we did with XRP? And like, I know a lot of people for years are like, how does this guy how can he do all of this and not go to a 9 to 5? I just don't understand. Do you understand now? I don't talk about a lot. I wouldn't talk about a lot outside of XRP and a couple others, but now that I'm open to you guys, do you see how much capital actually flows now when we're in the right moments? Just out of curiosity. And it's not about time in market. It's about timing it. And this is the perfectest example of what we just did here. But this is going to knock our socks off. I didn't even do the whole pattern for you guys earlier. But this descending wedge is going to knock our freaking socks off. And yeah, is it hard to always do this all the time? No, it is not. It's actually very simplistic. I see things in different ways now. When I wake up, the first thing I do is I look at the market. As a whole, I don't look at any single token. I used to do that with XRP, and then I'd be up or down based on XRP, and then I'm like, wait a minute. I know about all this other stuff. I can't just, it'll all start with XRP, and if it affords me, and I used to tell myself, and I told the community, if it affords me the opportunity based on the rallies in the years to come, and it allows me to branch into other things, then I'm going to take advantage of it. But it starts with XRP, and I will forever be grateful that XRP brought me legitimately into this space with all of you. Although I guess I could say it was, between XRP and then Julie's Doge. It was a big eye-opener when all that was going down, especially with what was happening in traditional finance markets, how they were screwing us over. But now that regulation's coming to crypto, so I keep telling you, enjoy this. How many times have I said, enjoy this? Don't worry about the downside. I said it 2 weeks ago. Just enjoy it right now. Because we don't know what comes with regulations in 28. 28 is going to be brutal. So just enjoy it. Just enjoy it. Seriously, just enjoy it. That's a descending wedge, it looks like. Or hell, if it's a descending trend, I don't care what it is. That's super bullish. And then we've got, this is the understudy, right? So, you know, you guys see all the stuff I do in crypto, but anybody new, what goes unnoticed is what goes up here. What I've accomplished in acquiring silver when it was down at 16, 15, 14, 13, 17, 18. Well, before I met you guys, lower, but during this time, 16. And I was doing daily buys monthly. I was doing silver stacker videos. I was doing gold videos. It was only getting about 30% of the views or 20% of the views of my normal videos, but I did it for months. I even did an overnight radio show, I called it. The overnight radio show. And I would do like an hour, hour and a half. And, we're getting XRP Healthcare, Lonzo. When I have something that's so big, and I don't want to keep looking at it because it makes me nervous how much it's going to make, that's one. Yes, I bought physical gold and silver for about 5 years consistently until 2024. I stopped because the price got above 2,000, and I told myself once gold gets over 2,000, it is what it is. You can keep buying it, but I have a different philosophy. And silver, I did it as long. My goal was to get to 800 ounces, and I passed that by a little bit. And the goal was 15 ounces of gold, and me and Julie together got there. So now it's more about, I look at the mining stocks, and they've done their own thing, as you guys know. The newest one that I kept telling everybody about was the Dolly Varden, and all of a sudden Dolly Varden's gone from 318 like a week and a half ago to 375 real quick here. So, but the miners are crushing it. You guys remember B2 Gold was at like close to $2.20 at the beginning of the journey. A lot of this, I remember Pan America Silver just about 20 like 3 weeks ago. And then I also have the Emerging Markets Fund, and I try to teach the audience that when you can do it, every single year you do an IRA, $7,000 tax write-off. It takes off your bottom line. So if you make 50 grand, now you make 43. I put $7,000 a year because that's the max I can put at my age into these emerging markets. And yet last year was the first year I did it for tax purposes so that I could get a bigger write-off, so to say, so that I wouldn't have to pay as much. And then I did 7,000 again this year. I got to do it early this year because we made so much in crypto that I just tapped it out like in March. And these are what I came up with. And the 14,000 I put in is worth like 15,400. I did this last year in November. So it was I'm a late bloomer to it. So, what was it? October. So, you know, that's what's going on. So there's more than just the crypto. We understand how to spin it into other things, and the store of value is not crypto. Change that form of thinking. The risk asset and the casino-like vibe and the way to transcend your wealth in a very different way is through crypto if you do it right. But when you get that altering moment, you have to put a certain amount into your future wealth, which means you have to store it in gold and silver. If I make 100K, 500K in this, a portion of it's going to go in gold and silver for safe storing. And then the rest, I don't know what's going to happen. It's scary what comes next. I've been prophesizing this since 2021, and I've been saying this for 4 years and more now than ever. What kind of person are you going to be when this happens? Because you've already seen yourself 10x with me, XRP, and everybody bitched, complained, moaned the whole time on the outside while we're sitting here saying, I don't know how you can't see what we're seeing. Like, I legitimately sit here and say, I don't know how people can't see what I see. And then I have to remember, they can't see the charts and they can't see what I see because they don't know what I see. Or they don't know what you see. But this is going to get pretty crazy if this does. And I keep saying if because you can't say 100%. Did we not nail XDC at 7.7? Did we not nail that retracement of IOTA at 22.6? I think it was. So far, we need that breakout to continue. But the biggest one was just we knew, and it was being a pain in the ass, but we knew ACH was about to have that push. And this is just the first of it, but we knew it was coming. And we can say that because we mark every level. And it hits the micro points, but now when does it hit the other ones? Like, this is when it gets really awesome. Look at that. It consolidated perfectly. I bet you a bunch of people sold the consolidation. In the daily, we haven't even broke. This is what I keep trying to say. In the daily, we haven't even made that golden cross. We haven't even pushed past the 200. It's so far behind. One of these days when I come on and this keeps happening, because you know how it compounds. The more we bought in this time compared to last, I think for now, in XDC, I'm comfortable because I did a couple different things. I overbought it with some of my funds for AMP. When I was ready to buy AMP, I did what I did, and I have 202,000. It's either 202 or 212. I think it's 202,000 XDC that is not for sale. It's non-negotiable. But I did put the other part back into AMP, and then I thought about it, and I started looking at Dent during the last live, and I said, no, I can't do it. The potential here, the lack of tokens. AMP has like 100 billion tokens. And when you start looking at the ban protocol, it's got like 175 million. That's how you move money. It's been at $27 or some shit before. And I'm not looking at it for that regard, but I know what I'm seeing here on the charts, and it's life-altering. And most people are still ignorant to it. Look how many people in our own Telegram keep going against what I say. We had a slew of people that I bought ACH. They got out of it because I didn't think it was a good buy. And now they're sending me messages asking if they should buy it now. It's like, if you're in the copy trade, just let me cook. That's it. That's all I ask. Just let me cook. H-bar, absolutely. Absolutely. But let me do the intro. We'll do H-bar. We'll continue to look at XRP. We'll roll around, look at XRP Healthcare. We'll look at IOTA. But H-bar, if you're new today and you haven't seen my videos today, you can see a distinct difference to what was added into my intro videos. And I think this is starting to set up very nicely the way that my pictures are setting up. And it should let you know every step of the way what's going on. You've got the Internet of Things with IOTA. You got H-bar there. You've got XDC. You've got XRP. You're starting to see my top list of tokens be unveiled right before your very eyes in a very strategic way. In a different way than you might have thought. And it's not maybe my 100% A1, but they're the ones in the moment too. Well, obviously, these are part of the A1 category. But there is a sleeping giant in the room, and it's one that not anybody really talks about, and it's on the next page you guys know about. But H-bar, has it already been 30 minutes? Holy fuck. There's so much going on. The blue dot is under construction. I think most of you already know what's going on the left hand. The blue dot of dent, but it's been dented. It's been dented, but I've either got to do, I might circumvent, there's going to be 3 more added soon, and I know you already know which ones they are. There's a very strategic one that's missing on purpose, and it's part of the XRP name, so you know that's coming eventually. Unstake my Ethereum to get into band. Yeah, that's why I hate staking, what you just said. Because you cannot, most times you can't, yeah, see, for me, I had a decision to make. And VELO made it easy because it's not on BITUNIX. But I wasn't going to go to another exchange. But I personally, and I want to see how it plays out, I like Alchemy Pay in that situation. If you want to compare, VELO to something, it's a tough decision. But Tezos is doing great today. Someone forward thought that in the Telegram yesterday and was sharing the volume spike. And if I had any, and I used to love Tezos. That's one that I always thought had a chance. I know it has still even, it's up like 50, 60%. So it had a phenomenal move. I love it. What do you think of swapping data that I have for band? I mean, personally, I like having both, but I wouldn't blame you just because of the difference in tokens. But remember, I think data is going to have see, that's why I don't like to jump from token to token. That's why sometimes I'm like, I would love to buy this particular token, but it's just not in the budget. It's just not in the budget. Despite all the money I have in the market, I still feel very comfortable with my decision with what I want to do with XDC having over 200,000 tokens. I think that that's going to be one of those moves that, and I know other things are going to move, but that's just something that I had in my heart because of what I did with XRP. I said, I'm not going to do the same thing as XRP, even though I'd made phenomenal money. Imagine if I would have had 20 grand to throw on XRP back then and it 10x'd. Now I'd have 200 grand just on XRP instead, or 300 and something grand. Actually, $600,000 if I had 20 grand. No, that's not right. $200,000. Don't listen to me. I've been up for a while. But you get what I'm saying. I keep doing the math of H bar in my head like a dum-dum. Okay. But I think this is building for data. So, I put the forward projection out before it happens. And now we just happen to break out of that consolidation. The next move should be up to 2.4. Then after that, it's up to 4. In data, it's interesting because, yes, it doesn't have as little tokens as Band Protocol. Let's see. Data token. Oh, I forgot. There's another data token, so you have to do data streamer token. But Streamer has a current supply of 1,217,000 or 1,217,523,352. That's their max supply. So 1.2 billion. So not awful at all. And it's very, very much undervalued. Songbird I like. I don't even know if that's available. I don't think that's available on BITUNIX, but it's just not in my at this time. It's not part of what I can do right now, unfortunately. I got to kind of stay in a certain line of thinking right now. So some of the things that don't meet my alignment, I got to stay out of my head for now. No offense to everybody. No offense, everybody. It's just I gotta stay on a certain line of thinking right now. Otherwise, it's gonna fucking backfire. Look at that. If you type in XRP Future Millionaire on Google, I wanted to see how it would show up. But it says, I'm Thomas, aka XRP Future Millionaire. I provide daily free technical analysis on XRP, gold, silver, and more. No hype, no BS, just facts. I think that's a great intro to my channel. Honestly. But then if you want to be part of this, this is free. Go to xrpfuturemillionaire.com. Use it as your headstone. Use it. Live API, dedicated servers. Volumes automatically put into these charts no matter what you do. Hey, what have we been talking about, right? We've been talking about, a lot of people had H-bar, but you know what I want to do? How about we go to XRP Healthcare real quick? I don't know if we've looked at it on here yet. So let's go. Which one is this? Crypto. Oh, beautiful. That's perfect, but we won't be able to see volume or anything, so we can't use, whoops. Are you really Caleb and Brown? No offense, but that's what I got approached by Caleb and Brown, and there's a reason why every YouTuber known to man is talking about Caleb and Brown. They offer quite the compensation for you to get people to use their basically they're overpaying for their crypto. Let me just be honest. You're overpaying for your crypto for the ease of comfort knowing that you've got essentially like a broker working with you. I would never use Caleb and Brown. I'm just telling you guys, don't do it. That they approach me like many other exchanges do, and they offer me a bunch of bullshit. And that exchange is a bunch of bullshit. The reason I'm using BitUnix is not because they offered me anything, is because it actually has cheap fees, and I get hassled a lot by the other exchanges saying, why would you promote that exchange when we can offer you all this money? Because that's why. Yeah, that's the bottom line what the fine just said. BitUnix is custodial institutional grade security. I used to try to talk semantics with BitUnix, but it kind of, everybody would think I'm like lying about it for some reason. It's like, no, there's actually a reason why I fell in love with it in the beginning. The fees were just a bonus. The fees are essentially non-existent. BitUnix charges a lot for changing your limit orders. What are you talking about? How do they charge you a lot for changing your limit orders? I'm not going to go into the semantics. I know what I trade. I know how much I trade. You can all see it in real time. You see all my fees with the group and everything. So you can make your own decision. I'm not here to argue and piss and moan over details that I don't even know or could be verified, or I could even argue them with you, which I don't even want to. The point is I'm explaining my experience. I'm not telling you guys to use it. I'm just telling you what I like and what I use and the reasons why. Big reversal here in the monthly as well on XRP healthcare. But on my website, if you do this, go to MACD, moving average convergence, divergence, you can start to see the flow. Look at that. Oh, you're not going to be able to see it in the higher time frames. I forgot. We got to go into a lower one for, oh man, I can't see anything because of the comments today. I forgot. I hate not having my tablet. We'll just switch it out of here. Let's try it. We have it in the monthly. Try it in the weekly. Yeah, look at that, steadily turning. Volume's coming up in the weekly. Nice reversal. Well, in the daily. Like, you can do all of this. It's very simplistic. Sorry, I'm having a hard time seeing because of all the comments. Look at that. Definite pickup in the flow in the MACD and the daily. We bounced off of it below. Now, what I want to see is in the weekly, the RSI real quick. And you can simply do that. You can put 3 indicators on here. Like I said, the volume automatically comes on because you shouldn't be looking at it. Oh, there we go. The weekly, okay, that's a nice profound look. That'll work. Daily's not enough. It's not enough of a timescape in my opinion. No, no, no. I didn't watch the Manny fight last night. I don't really pay attention to sports anymore unless it's Michigan. You know, if it's Michigan football or basketball, you'll catch me interested. But outside of that, I don't watch any sports. I don't even really watch TV at all. You know, if we have something on, we're watching old shows like Home Improvement or something that are just playing on repeat, or just other stuff from the 90s and 80s, and how I listen to records from the 40s and 50s right now that I'm enthralled with. Um, but Garnett Mims is one that I just truly love. And I'm not talking about like listening to Led Zeppelin and all that, because I have a bunch of their albums and other people's too. But I'm talking about like just getting into the old, when you start to hear, it's almost like the Elvis era too. It kind of transfers into that. But anyhow, the RSI, throw that on there, and you can see a breach, right? I know you are not oblivious to what I'm showing you. That weekly cross in the relative strength index is super bullish, guys. This is your bullish crossover in the weekly. So you had a weekly bullish divergence, or however you want to call it, actually. You could make it even steeper than that and make it sound better, but that's essentially what happened. You had this crossing in the weekly, now it's flipped back into super bullish territory. And it's going to be scary this next move because I bought 35% more when it got under 5 cents. So now instead of having 63,000, I have like 102,220 tokens. Oh, the punk era was good. I even liked a little bit of the heavy metal era with like A Day to Remember and bands like that. With the punk era, I liked Blink 182 back in the day before they started all their nonsense. Last 15 years, I can't listen to them, but back in the 90s, I liked them. In the early 2000s. But yeah, there's a lot of bands that I like, actually. I don't listen to music anymore unless it's music that's like 7 decades old, to be honest. You sure, Define says, Tom, you sure come a long way with your setup. At home, he puts it into, oh, I know. I know. And when you start to see it on here without all of my stuff, isn't it a lot different? Like, especially when you start seeing this. VELO definitely cooking something to hold that 2-cent support. Yep. Oh, 10 cents? Oh, no, no. When XRP healthcare moves, it's going up to like 75 cents eventually, if not more. This move right here is going to build us into a zone that we're never going to go back to. Like if we move from here, this will be like XRP. We're never going back to the 1 and 2 cent zone anymore. We tapped 3 cents, I think, on a quick wick, or 2.8, maybe 3.8. I can't remember. But I don't think we're ever going to go back to where we were. I think we had a momentary opportunity where we just were so laser focused last March. And the rest is history. Yes, you have to look at it for, oh, we're going over $1 with XRP healthcare. I firmly believe that. That's why my mind, you have to stay even keel with all this. You can't just forward think this. You have got to stay even keel. Otherwise, when you're looking at it, you're like, oh, I'm going to sell this for that. I'm going to sell that for this and this for that. What's up 12%? Doge's up 12.6% now. Julie's going to be happy. She's going to be happy. I know she's taking a nap right now, but she's going to be happy. And just remember, was I laughing in my earlier video before all these breakouts started? Was I laughing before we had some of this stuff? So whenever I laugh on a short, you know something good's coming. That's how you decode it. So, you know, everybody knows now. If I'm laughing in a short, it's because I can't contain it, because I know it's what's happening for our audience. And like, it's gonna be very hard to wipe this smile off my face, even if this. It's just gonna be very hard to. The more we continue to grow together, the harder it's going to be to overtake our community, because we're building something that you cannot find on any other channel. Can we at least agree with that now? When you put it in perspective, how many other people do you watch that copy trade with you the way I do without charging you for one? And then they're not putting you in harm's way. They're putting you in a 1x trade. Every other person's going to put you in big trades. Our max pull down right now, our maximum drawdown, which is the biggest percentage you're down trading with me. Well, now because it went up, it's not going to show a maximum drawdown, if I'm being honest. But our group right now, I am up $4,644 in 10 days or 11 days in our group trades. On 1x, mind you. The group is up $21,523 collectively, not counting me. It's an unbelievable feeling to know so many people are tagging along right now. You have no idea how good it makes me feel. Yeah, the only one you're going to, yeah, XRPH, it's hard, but, you know, Chris, no, but if you join our Telegram, you can learn how to get it. Yep. Yep. If you want to join, you can join the Telegram, but you got to join Tom's Army, and then you can get all of the finer details. We tried to do it for free, and there were so many spammers that were imitating me that I had to make a change a couple days ago. And I felt like it's okay because we're making, it's worth it. So there's 437 people in here. So a lot of stuff going on. There's the group trading setup. There's the help desk, content links. There's the charts. There's the Big House Reader's Digest that was just started this week. Give a big shout out to Define Group. He did a phenomenal job with it. So I encourage you every Sunday to read it, please. And if you do sign up, like I seen a new member, Matt, re-signing up in Tom's Army, go to the Telegram and go to post. It's the very first one. I'm not identifying it. It's just, it's a post for members only, not members of the channel, members of Tom's Army. So. Oh, absolutely, Lonzo. That's a big part of what'll probably happen. But yeah, everybody's waiting for the blow off top of XRP. You know, for rightful reasons. It's just, if you're just buying in, that blow off the top is not going to be as big as some of the other ones. Like, to see a 20% move in XRP right now, like we've seen in Alchemy Pay, is going to be very hard based on the price. It's going to happen eventually, but it's very hard. Matt, thank you so much for rejoining Tom's Army with your 3rd month plus with the emoji badge of me being, or I didn't get emoji badge, of the XRP Meteor. I really appreciate it. Mark, thank you so much for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year. And you said, because you are the best, Tom. Thank you very much. You know, I wouldn't say that, but the more of you that say that, it makes it more real in my head. So I appreciate it. I just try to be very forthcoming and tell you exactly what I do. That's it. Burn everything. Brother Tom, you're killing it. Keep on grinding. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think Define, once I decided to make the change, Define was the first person I contacted because I felt like there was something there. I can't explain it, but he embodies everything that I do. But he's also had vision because he's messaged me a lot, and we've talked. You know, it just there's been a lot of stuff, so I could tell he had a true vision. So I kind of gave him the reins. Him, Jorge, and Nick Morales, they're kind of they can run the show with me, and it's awesome. Look at XDC getting ready to go over 10 cents. So yeah, obviously the 202,000 that I decided to settle with, that is going to be what I roll with because the price is appreciating, and I like it better this way. Bradley says, first time visiting this live discussion. Excellent. Welcome in, my friend. And fortunately for you, we've honed it in a certain direction to where I feel really comfortable with our branding now. And I self-branded, so I didn't, you know, it's something. What would you put $3,500? Oh, man. That is a lit question because there's so many that I could tell you. So many. Like, I would look for the ones that didn't make the push up now, like ACH is a little bit ahead now. But we're going to get that same push from VeChain. We're going to get that same push from Band, same push from Dent, same push from Data. That's why I keep saying, most times why we don't succeed in crypto is because we don't target the right tokens. I'm telling you guys, there is not another person who is going to put a list together like this and have some of the odd end ones because of our community and have the top tier ones. You get an XRP influencer, they're telling you buy XRP only, or they'll tell you some stupid ADX coin that some asshole paid them money to tell you to buy so that they can make a bunch of money off of you losing it. That's what I don't do. I don't promote bullshit. Terrell Long, welcome into Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. That's unbelievable. I am so generous. Or not generous, I'm not generous. You're so generous, but I'm so humbled by all of you who support my work. That's why I stayed on YouTube, because I feel like you got to stay true no matter what. You view XDC as correction. Yeah, I mean, this was a correction. It does look like it was in a little bit of a correction, but almost looks like it wants to power through, but we'll see if it finishes. We'll see. And Terrell, don't forget to join the Telegram. Make sure you go to YouTube on my homepage, click on my logo, and then go to post. There's the Telegram right there, and you're gonna get a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, it's gonna knock your socks off. So make sure before you start doing anything, you go through, read the Declaration of Prosperity, and you go through all the different things. See how the group runs. There's a lot of resources at your disposal, tons of them. Like it's taken me 4 years to build that Telegram, and I had to stop for 2 years after we had a big nonsense. And slowly but surely, one member at a time, I was picking up, one member at a time, one member at a time. ZBCN, it's not that I don't want to do ZBCN, it's just there's a lot of false bravado with it and a lot of false rumors with the linkage to Ripple, which I personally have not been able to validate any of that. So because of my newfound agenda here with all of you, I think I'm gonna stay away from discussions on ZBCN, even if it kills it. There's a few of them like MXC, I'm gonna stay away because it's only on crypto.com and I'm not supporting them. I mean, it's on a few others, but where I can buy it. Unless I'm using their crypto Visa debit card that's prepaid, I'm not supporting them. Well, CRO because I lock it up for the card. Vacation's great. I'm having a great time here. Matt, thanks for asking, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 months with the XRP Meteor. Yeah, it's been fun. It's been a good time. Once I get done here, I know Julie's resting a little bit. It's already been 54 minutes. Oh my God. Oh, I think XDC's got a hell of a lot more to it than XRP. I said this a long time ago, but XRP was the buy because of where it was about to go at the time. Um, but yeah, I have a lot more faith at this point percentage will gain than XRP. But it's not apples to apples because if you have 10,000 tokens of XRP from 34 cents like us, a 12-cent move for the general public is 3.5%, but you might as well just look at it as a 30% move from your initial buy-in. Or 35. You see what I'm saying? So that 3,500 initial investment is cooking right now today. It's up over $1,000. More than that, probably 1,500. But for the person who just bought today, they're up 3.39%. And they probably don't have 10,000 tokens. Retail certainly doesn't, if it's the general retail. We're going to have, there's going to be a lot of opportunities with us. What's going to happen here in the next, especially if we are in alt season. If we're in alt season right now and this actually continues, which it feels like it's going to, let's just be honest, it feels like it's going to. And Ethereum's a big reason why. I'm sorry if you already answered, but what? Oh, I use BITUNIX. I like BITUNIX. And now if I can't buy it in spot, like for the group, we do copy trading and stuff. Or if it's something that I just do 1x so that it's still a spot trade. You have no risk as far as the normal leverage trade. It still has no liquidation because you did it at 1x. Even if you buy a 1x in the futures, it runs the same way as but most of my stuff is in spot, yes. On BitUnix. Except for my XRP and XRP Healthcare. I sent it to the XRP Healthcare app in 2024. Because I had XRP Healthcare on there, and then I had the Zoom wallet, as most of you know, formerly known as Zaman. And I ended up sending it off of there. I didn't, there were certain things that I was uneasy about. And I said, the hell with it. XRP Healthcare is lonely over there by itself. It's a good combo. So we're just letting that cook. That portfolio could hit a couple $100,000. And while the other ones are cooking too. So we'll see what happens. I told you it's a work in progress. So we got the time. The only thing that hasn't happened yet is the forward time. We've done our job in these bear markets. We've done our job being consistent over the years. Now we're getting rewarded. Most people are going to jump into this after the reward, most of it's been given. Look, how many people didn't want to buy XRP with us all the way up, and now all of a sudden they're like, I want to buy. I'm going to buy it every week. You're going to buy it every week at 354. Well, you're going to buy it every week at 354, while there's other ones that you could truly be buying right now that will change your professional. I mean, you might be able to buy the other ones and then go sink more into XRP with all those profits because they're going to outperform. Because you're going to have to buy in and you're going to be doing a percentage gain right now. And yeah, there's hell. I told you in the earlier updates, cup and handle forming here right now. Big W reversal. It's either coming for a double top at 364. Or if this breaks out, we're going to the $4 level. Maybe 420. But the total target is like 549 from when this market rally started back in November. We already had it measured before it even started. We had the first initial kick up was out of the cup and handle to $1.34. Remember what I said? Once it gets over $1.18, I start to say we're practically getting into a bull market. Once it got on top of 134 and held that back test, I said it's all hands on deck. We are officially in a bull market. It didn't matter for us. We had already bought our stuff, but I'm saying that's when we could finally do it. Oh, that was you, Ruffin? I seen that before I came on. Are you, hold on. I want to make sure that nobody else sent anything. Normally people don't send it on there, so I'm pretty sure it would only be you today. Let's see. I know I seen it earlier on Venmo. Was it Venmo I seen it? I think so. Yeah, it was definitely Venmo here. Let me look. I have to give credit to everybody who pays it forward and stuff. I like doing it. So yeah, Ruffin Jarman. Okay, so that is you. Beautiful. Thank you for that. I'm assuming it was a $10 donation because I think they transferred I don't know. Thank you for the $10 donation. I really, 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 really appreciate that. It means a lot to me, if I'm being honest. It really does mean a lot to me, everybody who pays it forward. And Emerson, if you're in here today, I apologize. I did not see it until just now. You also sent the same amount through a Venmo, YouTube, or a Venmo pay it forward donation. And I appreciate that from July 17th. Thank you so much for that, Emerson. You've been supporting me for many, many years. What will XDC do short and long term? Well, take a picture. Study it. Let those numbers burn in your head. And that's not the end result. This is just what we're building. Remember, we haven't built that ultimate top layer yet. So right now we're building the handle off the cup. Once we get over that target, and what is it going to be that we actually have? Whoa, shit. Wait a minute. Oh, I have the eraser out. Shoot. I'm glad I didn't delete everything. This is the simplest fix of it all. So right about there, we're going to have to get over 14.6. You know, it's funny. A lot of people still come in and like, this guy has no fucking idea what he's talking about. Like, look how stupid he is. And then they'll come back a week later and say, I look stupid in the moment, but I guess I should have paid attention. The thing that makes me feel most would be like, doesn't that make you feel good? Something I'm about to tell you. And it actually makes me feel the worst. When people come back in and say, I started watching you in 21 and I just thought you were out of your mind. Or I watched you and then after it dropped, I just couldn't watch you anymore because I thought you were crazy. And they're like, now instead of being very well off in crypto, it's quite the opposite. And it makes me feel bad because maybe if I had this approach back then, I wouldn't have turned so many people off. You know, instead of the cussing at people and things like that. But you know, you got to make a mark. And that was my mark. I was this in your face. I don't give a rat's ass what you're saying, which I still don't when I'm doing my stuff. But it was more, it could have been different. I might throw you a curveball between XDC, Dent, and I don't remember the other one you said. Dan and Iota and Dent. Oh shit, all of them are good choices. I don't know. Between Dent, H-bar, and XD, it's impossible. All of these are good choices. I almost might look at Band just because of the only the 175 million or so total tokens, and the fact that it's there's a reason why I took away my, and I wanted AMP, but it has what 100 billion plus tokens or whatever, or close. And this is, you're talking about one with 107. I almost think that this would be, I don't know what my sell target is for Band. I'm not looking at that right now. But I can tell you it probably wouldn't be 27 because if it got up there, you'd have a huge cup. And watch. Can you guys see how far behind this actually is, this protocol? Like when you start looking at things and you start understanding the other patterns that have already formed, watch what my mind instantly does here. Ready? First, I can't find because I'm so excited, my drawing tool. Watch what my mind does. Now, if you do something like that, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, breakout, back test, boom. Then you can start forward thinking if that happens. Now, obviously, there's going to be the however the hell we get there. But the point is I'm showing you a left shoulder, head. Like this is the inverse head of a inverse left shoulder, of a future inverse right shoulder, of a future cup and handle, of a future measurement of the cup and handle, of a future break out of said cup and handle. And then once that ultimately happens, I'll see you up there. That's where I think it's probably going to go if we forward think it. But I look crazy right now. I look crazy because look how low we are. And for this stuff to start, this is all I used to do with XRP. I'd be like, I don't care how crazy I look. This is what's going to happen. And eventually we're going to acknowledge that I may have looked crazy then. But I certainly don't look crazy now, do I? Do I look crazy with XRP anymore? I may have looked like it then. No, I haven't heard anybody. The only thing people used to say, they still say it, XRP never moves. Okay. You know what never moves? most things that aren't XRP for the last couple of years. If you want me to be honest, you could have picked only XRP and you'd be doing great right now. But now it's time to have forward thinking. So from here, I mean, you want to talk about life altering. If you could ride it out for as long as this takes, and this plays out like I drew, which I think it's going to in time, could take years. In my projection, I guess it took until 2030. I don't know if it'll take that long. Probably not. But this is what's going to start building. Well, it might, because in the weekly, it takes time. Look, this started in 21. So, we'll see how this pans out over time. We'll see how this pans out over time. I'm certainly happy. 222, look at that. We only got it for a split second while I was talking about it, then I stopped. But yeah, I'm gonna have to get going here, guys. I'm on vacation, and obviously we're doing family stuff, and I want to spend some time with everybody. So it's been an hour and 5 minutes. I'll probably come back tonight. I don't know. I'm just an aggressive worker. I enjoy what I do. And XRP Healthcare is so close to just going ballistic to that 34 cents. I'm telling you guys. I hate to keep saying I'm telling you guys, but I am telling you guys, if you do this properly with me, and now it's been 4 years for some of you, 4.5, but if you take this next step and you take your emotion out of it and you're firmly in your position that we've been discussing, I keep saying this, look at the person you are in the mirror today and look at the person you're going to be if you added a couple zeros to your name. And I know this is going to happen because I talk about it all the time, 4 figures to 5 figures to 6 figures. The only thing left is to be that millionaire. And it's all set up in the portfolio. It's all set up with the precious metals. It's all set up with the mining stocks. It's all set up with the emerging markets funds. Just got to let it cook. Took years of preparation to get to this point. Now it's up to me to maintain an emotionless demeanor, to lead you guys in the same way, and to allow you to be part of the party without taking from your pocketbook. And I'm honored to say, aside from the $9.99 now to get into the initial Telegram, because of all the people imitating me and scamming my own audience and trying to scam me as well, which was the final straw, I decided that. And then if you can't afford it, you can't afford it. If you're already in there, if I know you, hey, it is what it is. If you do it and you're like, Tom, I don't need you to do it every single month. I think everybody who is part of my group trades and in the Telegram and has basically, I've been carrying everybody on my back, which is good because that's what I wanted to do. But I think when you carry people, they should also give you the grace of picking you up every now and then. So that's I think we're creating something that can't be it can't be emulated. So, but yeah, I'm going to keep it there. There's just so much I can talk about, as you see. Just stay humble. I was put in this role for a reason. I know it. I can feel it every single day. I think the way I do, I've been through what I have. I was humbled so early. I was born piss poor for a reason, because I can relate to all of you. And you can relate to me. And like I said in 21, the only difference between me being a millionaire now and in a few years when we do what we need to do, because nothing happens if you do it the right way, it's not going to. So anyhow, that's where we're at right now. So now it's about following through. Lonzo says, I'm going to build my own gym with a cold plunge. Not a bad idea. You're going to, if this plays out, I always say if because you can't say it's going to. You ready for early retirement, everybody? That's all I can say about this cycle. Think about that. But think about who you're going to become if you have another 0 or 2 in front of your name. Because if you're a dick now, you're going to be an even bigger dick when you get a bunch of money. If you're a giver, you're going to be able to be the biggest giver you've ever had. You're going to be able to be the giver you've always wanted to be, because that's what I've been able to do now. You're going to be able to help other people. You're going to create abundance, or you're going to take it all for yourself. I said this in 21, and I'll say it now. You have no reason to believe me in 21. Now you've seen my history and my proof. Now it's up to you to help push what I'm doing, and to help create abundance, not for me, but for everybody else who is not in tune with what we do. So it's community. And then people are like, well, what do we get out of it? Come on now. If you ask that question, you're not even thinking properly. What do you get out of it? No, no, no. What do we all get out of it? Stop saying I. The biggest problem I have with a lot of people is they always talk about I. How can I be helped? Tom, how can you help me? That's a good question, but I can only help you if I know what your objective is. Like, you've got to help yourself, but I'm giving you the tools. Alec Tony, thanks for the $9 donation of being in Tom's up here. Talking about Dust House Crypto News. Says, does your back hurt from carrying the team? Not so much from that, but from the brokenness in the back. But thank you, everybody. We're going to leave with ACH up 22.2%. Brilliant, everybody. Just, whoops.